Hello everyone. I'm breaking a lot of YouTube rules by doing this video from my car, but you know what? You know me. If there's anything consistent about me, the video is always in a different place. So, until I build a studio, this is what you're going to get. It keeps it interesting, right? So, real crazy story. I went to a nightclub. Yes, I'm a Bible-believing Christian. Yes, I do not believe in promoting certain lifestyles, but I believe that Jesus went lots of places to meet with people and encourage people just not engaging in certain things, being careful about that. But as a Christian, a Bible-believing Christian who believes in the Holy Spirit and has the infilling and lives a walk with Christ every day, I wanted to share my observations with you and what I learned on going to the nightclub. So just to give you a little bit of backstory, a friend of mine used to work with, actually used to be a supervisor. So great kid. Yeah, up and coming pop star. Did his first headliner show. Great success. He was amazing. We all those of us in the office went and supported him. He did a great job. Invited us all out to the after party afterwards. It was downtown in a loft space. You have to go up to the top of the building, and the nightclub's on the top of the building. A really, really sweet location and spot. It was a sea of humanity. And I've been in some interesting places. I'll go anywhere. But this was crazy. People pack like sardines everywhere you go. You don't get anywhere in there unless you're pushing your way through the crowd. And once you find a line of people that are moving, you follow them. Because there's just no room to move around. It was packed. It was insane. It was a Saturday night, so that probably made a difference too. But just some, observations from being there. Obviously, I will let you know, those of you who have never been to a nightclub before, who don't know the scene, this is for you to learn. And for those of you who have been in nightclubs and you know that lifestyle, this is for you to reflect. I will let you know that while I was in there, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. There's a lot of people dancing and partying on the dance floor. There's the DJ is just ripping out some really loud beats just all night long, constantly just boom, 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 boom. That was nuts. There were two bars where you could get drinks. There were lots of tables around the outsides of the room. You could rent a table. It would cost quite a bit. I think it's upwards like $1,000. And then the middle of the dance floor, which, of course, me being an idiot, not knowing this, never been there before, walked in, didn't know where to go, was looking for my friend, went through this way and this way. And my wife went with me, so it was a new experience for her for sure. She'd never done anything like this. We're like, just sea of humanity, know where to move, and dumb me realized I turned to my left as lights blaring, flashing, music in my ears. Turn to my left like, oh, there's the DJ. Oh, we're in the middle of the dance floor. This is a bad idea. So that was the rough start. There's plenty of people doing all that sort of stuff. People dancing, people drinking, people filming, people are on the tables, things like that. But one of the things that you need to know is that really about 2/3 of the people there acted like they have no idea why they were there. And that's my first observation, just watching people. They don't know if they're supposed to dance. They don't know if they're supposed to drink. They don't know what they're doing. Those people are just kind of wandering from place to place, not really knowing what to do. I would say that there would be people standing there talking, but observation number two is that there was absolutely no way to have a conversation. The noise level was extremely loud. You couldn't hear a thing. In order to talk with somebody, and it did, like when my friend showed up, he had a rented table. He brought all of his party over to the table. We all stood there around the table. We packed in like sardines because there was a lot of us, maybe about 15 to 20 in his party. And this table can only, if you were to sit comfortably normally like a restaurant, this table could maybe fit 6, okay? So we're everywhere. There's standing space behind the table up top. So there's a bunch of people just standing back there. People standing everywhere, he's crammed in. But even to talk to somebody right next to me, because I had a guy who I met while I was there. Cool guy. He'd known my friend for a little bit. He's more of a friend of a friend, but, he was a big supporter. I talked with him, I tried to carry on a conversation with him, but it was like literally you have to cup your hands over their ear and shout at the top of your lungs from right next to them, and they could hear you. and they had to do the same. So there was no way you were having a conversation in there at all. Obviously liquor could fly around. They brought liquor all over the place. So there are a lot of people participating in the alcohol culture, which, that's something that is do not prescribe to anybody to do that. But that's just part of the culture. But even then, there were a lot of people that didn't even know why they were doing it. That was my first observation. A lot of people didn't know why they were there. They looked like they were out of place. And a couple of observations I want to give to you. First, humanity has related to each other for thousands of years with culture, community, family, word of mouth. And we all develop intimacy, and we get to know each other, right? The nightclub specifically just does not create an experience for that. It breaks that down. And as I was listening to the music, because the bass and everything is just so loud, it's just vibrating your whole body. You can't do anything intelligent in that atmosphere. And there are plenty of people that, they know that they're supposed to relate to each other by talking and communicating and some level of intimacy, even if they don't know this stuff. They feel that and they know that, so they don't know what to do with it. The people that looked like they knew what they were doing were there just to not even, they weren't there to relate to anybody. You were there just to lose it in the music, and they would just dance right there to the beat, and they would just feel the vibrations and just zone out. If you get drunk and you do that, if you're high and you do that, or maybe you just get high on the music, whatever it is, that's why you're there. And there was about a third of the people that got into that. That's what they were doing. It's just, they weren't there for community. They weren't there for people. They weren't there for anything other than just feel the music. And, they pay their $20 cover charge, and they just feel the music and just bump a bit, and that's it. But it really got me thinking, like, this, even all these kids that are there, they don't know. First I thought maybe a generational thing. Like, these kids don't relate this way. They don't even relate physically, right? Because a lot of the younger generation, they relate like this with a phone. This is how they relate through social media and the like. So they're not used to relating in close proximity like this. So many of them are fish out of water just for that. They're not like, a generation back where they could relate this way. But even then, no human being is designed to relate in this atmosphere. It's not made for that, right? It's like, I remember looking at everybody around there, and even people that, drinks are all brought to this table over here, and everybody's just going at it. They all toast each other. They all take a drink, right? But they're all just standing there, and they don't know what to do. They just stand there, they drink, and they watch what's going on the dance floor, and they're not doing anything. Like, even if they did go out on the dance floor and, decide to dance and bump and grind and all sorts of things I saw going on, like, they're not... still, like, they're not really relating to one another very well. It's like there's no intimacy. Obviously language is symbols, so people can relate to each other in a certain way, but they're just not getting to know each other. So that was a big observation of mine. So all the people just didn't know why they were there. And then the second big one, like I said, was just there's no way to have conversation. Like, the nightclub is built to eliminate conversations. All these videos you see, these movies you see of people going into a nightclub and like, hey, da-da-da-da-da-da, talk about business, or there's like some conversation between the antagonist and the protagonist, and all of a sudden there's like something said that somebody don't like, and there's people shooting out in there, and there's like spies running over. It's like, that doesn't happen, okay? It's just not happening. You're not hearing anything in there, okay? Nothing. You don't hear anything, all right? So I'm just telling you, like, some of that is make-believe because they need to be able to have a plot for the movie. And some of it is like, well, it's just one of those nightclubs where they don't play really loud music. Okay, you can have that, but I'm guarantee you, any nightclub you go to, from what I hear and what I know from everybody talking to them and everything I've seen, it's like this, right? You're not there to talk. You can't have conversations. So it's amazing just the atmosphere that's created, given to your senses, animal-like instincts. Don't communicate and don't relate to each other. You're supposed to completely lose, the goal is to get you to lull you into a sense of losing control and losing responsibility and your inhibition. And that's it. And like I said, a lot of people, I think people know, like, and I'm just going to say this last piece about this modern generation. The modern generation they're intelligent, they're smart. Like Gen Z, millennials, they know that there's something missing in life. They know you need communication and companionship. They know this. But in that atmosphere, you're not getting it. There's no communication. They know there's no genuineness to it. It's almost like something that's been passed down to them. Like, well, this is where we're supposed to be. And for those that enjoyed it, I'm sure they'd speak well of it and they'd enjoy it. And so it's what you do on the weekends or every now and then when you can afford to. But it's definitely not a place that you can go and get to know anybody or talk to somebody. If you went as a friend and maybe you were there encouraging them or you knew somebody and then you got away from all the noise, because it did have an outside area where you could get away from all the noise and that was closed off. And so it was out on the rooftop overlooking the city, which was really cool. But they had like an outdoor fireplace out there and places to sit. So you could sit down with your friends out there and you could talk, but that wasn't where it was happening. Like there was maybe 10 people out there and 200 people up there in the actual nightclub. You'd have to take a break and go out there and talk. That's all you could do. But really it's just not designed for that. And so anyway, I thought I would share my observations with you on what I saw. I do think that there are people, I saw lots of people that wanted companionship and they wanted entertainment. And for thousands of years, human beings entertained each other with each other. We would talk to each other and that was entertaining. We'd hear stories that was entertaining, which is why I love storytelling, because it's a lost art with a lot of people. It's like movies nowadays and entertainment, sitcoms nowadays, entertainment on television. It's, there are good stories, but a lot of times they're not even stories. They're basically just covert ways to entertain you visually, to incite the senses or give you a political agenda. And I really miss just good stories about people. Like I wish it would just be about people. And there are some good stories out there. There's lots of good stories. You can still find them. It's just very hard. And I think that we're losing the art of just being entertained with each other and finding our excitement in each other. We used to look forward to going to people's houses and hanging out with them. You used to look forward to getting together with people because, hey, I'm going to so-and-so again. What story is he going to have? What am I going to learn from him today? That was entertaining. This removes the human part of life that we were designed to be enthralled by. There's 100 different things that you could do with your life that would be worse. So I'm not saying that nightclubs are the worst thing ever, but they're not conducive to what humanity is designed for. It was like, and everybody in there was like a fish out of water. Like if you look at that academically and you look at every person in there according to how humanity is made to interact and how they should interact on a daily basis, how they do interact on a daily basis, they all look like they're awkward. Every one of them. Nobody looked like they fit in. Nobody. I didn't do anything but stand there and try to talk to people, but I didn't look any different than anybody else. I mean, just because I wasn't there dancing, hardly anybody knew what they were doing. So there's a real emptiness there. When people were there, they didn't know why they were there. Suffice to say, when you do meet with people and you have fun and you hang out and you celebrate things, and there's plenty of places you can do that, and you can get to know each other and have intimacy and this positive relationship. So anyway, it was a real cool experience for me. I am really glad I went because I just like being exposed to stuff and I love learning. I love watching people. There's so many more reflections that I kind of had, but I want to just nail these 2 points, these 2 big ones. Maybe in the future I'll have a chance to do it again, but it's not something I may talk about again. So we'll see. And it's probably not something I'll do again unless I had somebody I wanted to go and just be their friend and without pulling them into that culture and supporting it somehow. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think. But it's been great talking to you. And every other chance I get is a chance to share with you. And thank you for that.